Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. The sky is falling, plus with injuries stacking up, plenty of roster moves to discuss, and later, Rams home opener. It is 49ers week. 49ers at Rams. Full game preview. Let's rock.
This is Rams Showcase with your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome in Rams Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. It is Niners week. It is Rams home opener week, and I know the vibe of everybody right now is a little bit down in the dumps. Hopefully I can help out a little bit with that. I like to think of myself as like a super optimistic Rams fan, and actually I've come to notice that some people hate that so much that they unfollow everything that I do, which is totally fine. Hey, if you want to be all negative and stuff like that, that's totally fine. At Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, that's where you follow on socials. RamShowcase.com, that's where you follow along as well. Audio version is available wherever you are checking out podcasts. Video version, Facebook, as well as YouTube. You can watch me talk about the LA Rams. And yeah, man, there's a little bit of a vibe right now. Obviously, injuries are stacking up like crazy. And yeah, again, I just try to be optimistic. Also, because it's week 3, we're going into week 3, and there's so much football left to play, and who knows what's going to happen. A lot of different ways that this season could go. Obviously, started not in a way that we wanted to, but also it's not fun for me to just sit here for the next 15 weeks and just kind of like rip into the team. Just be like, this guy sucks. This is stupid. I hate everything. Like I can't do that. So I don't know how fun that would be for me. And in turn, I don't know how fun that would be for you to watch me just sit here and be bummed out the whole time. So I'm here to be optimistic, and I'm here to share a little bit of excitement. All right. Because I don't want to throw any bugs in anybody's ear and thinking that I'm saying that anybody on this current roster is Kurt Warner or Tom Brady. But those guys needed an injury to get their shot. What if Jordan Whittington's that way? What if Cam Kinchins is that way? What if Tyler Johnson, Tutu Atwell, what if one of these guys absolutely explodes due to having reps available due to injury? I'm not saying that's for sure going to happen, but hey, who knows? Logan Bruss expected to start at left guard this week. What if dude is a brick wall, especially with A.J. Jackson coming back? I'm just saying not impossible. I'm not saying likely. I'm just saying not impossible, all right? Can you just give me that much at least? Just say it's not impossible. That's all we're kind of looking for here. And, if you've been with me at least for these last few weeks, then you know that I'm not injury guy. They're all NFL players. And just because your superstar's out, they're not going to reschedule the game. They're not going to push that bad boy back just because you can't field a football team, or at least the football team you want to field. You got to get some guys, put them out there, hope for the best. And that's kind of the situation we're in right now. It sucks to lose Puka and Cooper and everybody else, the entire offensive line and stuff. But at the same time, everybody else that's below them is also NFL players. And that's just the way it is. Next man up kind of mentality. You have to have that because it's football. It's violent. It's aggressive. It's intense. And when you have a sport that is those things, injuries are going to happen. They're an unfortunate but very real part of this game. And yeah, we don't root for them. We don't hope for them. Nothing like that. But we're in a situation right now where we're dealing with it. And we're digging into the depth of our roster right now and trying to put together the best football team that we possibly can. Home opener this week against the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, tough matchup. They're down CMC and Debo, though. Debo, I'm so sorry. I'm trying not to talk trash, all right? Because, CG, who you may know if you are on the NFC West world of podcasting and shows and YouTube and social media, stuff like that. CG, I'm a big fan of CG, by the way. I've got nothing negative to say about that dude. But I will say I'm avoiding any kind of collabs or anything like that because it's just trash talk. And I'm just not about that life right now. I'm trying to distance myself from just straight trash talk. Like, he put out a video today calling it Levi's South and saying like, hey, you Rams fans better pay the rent and stuff like that. And it was like, I made the right call. I'm not going to hop on a show with somebody that says stuff like that. I know he's just joking. I know he's just joshing around and having a good time and just kind of doing his thing, But for what I'm trying to do in Ram Showcase right now, I am shedding that. So CG, if you're here checking me out, dude, all the love in the world, man. But can't do collabs right now. But maybe on a live stream, but not for the show. But injuries, they are getting a little bit ridiculous right now. Let's call it what it is. Very 2022 vibes going on right now. We are digging in pretty deep. But, it's something that we are dealing with right now. And I think that ultimately the vibe of the fan base right now is very much considering how the Rams performed against the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm just sitting here to tell you that game against the Arizona Cardinals, backups or not, injuries or not, that is not the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know what happened at that game, but that was a mess, and it just didn't feel like that was us. You know what I mean? Like, even the little things, Jared Verse missing tackles and stuff like that, it just seemed like not our... Jared Verse literally forced a fumble, and they ended in a touchdown for them. And it's like, that's the kind of day that we had. I really, truly, to my core, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a person with a Rams podcast or anything like that, that just seemed like one of those days. And it feels like we come in, I know that the 49ers are a much better team than the Arizona Cardinals, but it feels like we go into this game and just do a better job. And I don't know if that's just me feeling that way because I want to or I want to see it happen, but that last week what we saw, it's just not indicative of a Sean McVay coached team. And so I think that is important to consider as well. Kupp, by the way, not added to IR today, which is Wednesday, date of recording. And McVay kind of commented and said that it's not a season-ending injury. And, I mean, a lot of people are taking this news as like, oh, he's going to be back before 4 weeks. And it's like, well, maybe. But also, we're running out of IR spots, dude. Like, we can only bring back 8 unless we make the playoffs, and we can bring back a total of 10. And if we keep adding everybody to IR, eventually we're going to have guys on IR healthy, could have come back, but we ran out of slots to reactivate. So I think that that's a possible thought process as well of like, let's just not even worry about it. Keep him around. He'll be all right. Like maybe after bye week or something like that, we can get him back. It seems like he's going to be in the boot for a little bit and then start the rehab process. So yeah, I do like the quicker than 4 weeks doesn't feel real to me. That is just some fans kind of throwing that out there like, oh, he wasn't added to IR. Maybe we'll get him back sooner. I don't think that's the case. I think that we're just running out of those IR slots. All right. We got to keep some guys around because we won't be able to reactivate just about everybody. And silver lining. And if we can keep it together for just a little bit, we should be healthy around midseason. And that is my silver lining for these injuries. That is a big should. We should be healthy around midseason. But it's not impossible that we'd string together a few wins, win here or win there, and make another late season push, much like this Rams team did last year. For obviously, we'd be kind of looking at potentially at a wild card situation, although we're a game back from the 49ers, who are seemingly like the favorites still to win this division, even though you got the Seahawks sitting there, but like we're not really worried about them that much. But either way, we're kind of looking at like that might have to be the possibility simply because of where this team is at right now with those injuries. We know we're going to drop some games that we're like, dang it, dude. Like, shouldn't lose that game. A healthy Rams team doesn't lose that game. Like in Detroit, I feel like a healthy Rams team doesn't lose that game. Played them so well, but fell short. Arizona, that was just not our day. Maybe if starters are in there, the whole vibe is different, but like it just felt like the Arizona Cardinals, that was their Super Bowl almost. Because I don't know if you know, the last time the Rams lost in Arizona was Aaron Donald's rookie season. So he only did it once, and he didn't even play that much that year. So maybe it's all Aaron Donald. Maybe Aaron Donald was the glue holding the desert Rams together. Who knows, dude? Who's to say, right? But obviously, we're not going to be talking about wild card yet. We're going into week 3, so we'll let playoff races kind of unfold before we start getting to that point. But also, we got to keep in mind, first goal, especially in week 3, why would we be talking about wild card now? Your goal should still be to win your division. And I don't care how many games you are back. If you're not eliminated officially, I'm still hoping for it. I think that's a big part of it, too. I said this to a few people over the course of the week of like, yo, I didn't give up on the 09 Rams until we were mathematically eliminated, all right? I'm not going to go in 0-2 just because of some injuries and be like, pack it up. It's over. It's just not my style. I just can't do it. If you are like that, I'm not trying to trash you, all right? I'm just saying this is where we're going to be optimistic on this show, all right? If you want the the attitude of like, oh, well, everything is stupid and injuries are dumb and this sucks and we're going to be terrible. We might as well rebuild, sit Matthew Stafford because everybody else is hurt. You're going to need another show. I don't know if those ones exist out there. Complete transparency here. I don't watch a lot of other shows. But either way, the McVay or the sitting Matthew Stafford stuff too, by the way, I've seen way too many people comment that like, yeah, we should sit Stafford. Everybody's beat up. We got to keep him healthy. For what? We were 0-2, dude, trying to string together some dubs. We're going to put Jimmy in, the guy that everybody's still mad that we even signed. Like, come on, man. And then also, you're going to stand there owning a fireworks stand and tell me that you're going to go up to Matthew Stafford, look him in the eye and be like, hey, because some other guys are beat up, we're just going to go ahead and bench you. You think he's going to accept that? He's going to give you the middle finger and ask for a trade, probably. Like, he's like, you know what? Who needs a quarterback right now? Minnesota? Let's do this, man. Like, he's just going to take off. Carolina, even? Like, I don't know. He would just bounce, dude. Or at least be super angry. Or just, like, retire or something, man. But I think you go up to Matthew Stafford and be like, hey, man, there's some other guys that are hurt, so we're just going to put you down for a little bit. No. The competitor that Matthew Stafford is, obviously that's not going to happen, man. And then we'd have Jimmy G in, which everybody still hates. So where's the thought process? Like, I guess it's like, it's one of those weird things like, hey, wait, this is bad. Quick, make it worse. Like, what? No. Let's try to keep everything as intact as we can. All right. Cause we're barely hanging together here right now. And Matthew Stafford's a big part of that. So how about we not do that? So, but either way, that was just not the Rams that we saw against the Arizona Cardinals. Like I had mentioned, we can look at that game now and it's over. It's done. That game is done. The season is not. There is still a lot of football to be played. And again, a chance for the Rams to be healthy at some point. So I don't understand just completely throwing it away. Let's take a look at the transactions real quick before we hop into our game preview. As the Rams did release Ty Nsekhe from the practice squad, added him to the practice squad last week, and then dropped him this week. I'm not sure if that was an A.J. Jackson kind of insurance move, if the Rams wanted to have him there, but he wasn't he wasn't elevated from the practice squad, so he couldn't have played last week anyway. Tanner Brown, kicker, signed to the practice squad as Cardi is battling a groin injury, but he should be good to go. So just an insurance move there for Tanner Brown, making his return onto the Rams roster in some capacity. Cam Lampkin had some really solid plays in preseason. If you watched those games, dude's a thumper. He is signed to the active roster with John Johnson going down and some secondary issues. Hopefully Cam can come in and be a contributor. And we had some interesting situations happen as the Rams were kind of looking at, or obviously with John Johnson going down, I'm trying to lose my train of thought over here. With John Johnson going down, obviously Rams fans quickly went to like, okay, well, we just dropped Russ Yeast. We also just recently dropped Jason Taylor. Maybe one of them can come back, but no. Well, I guess technically, but Russ Yeast, former Rams safety, added to the Panthers practice squad, and then former Rams safety Jason Taylor II signed to the Arizona Cardinals practice squad. So both those guys can be signed off of practice squads. You can sign guys off of other teams' practice squads, but probably not, is what I'm guessing, because my guess is that those guys were probably okay with signing with those practice squads, respectively, based on probably some information that they knew that they weren't going to come back to the LA Rams. Also, former Rams wide receiver Ben Skowronek, Benny Sko, the Sko Plow, signed to the Pittsburgh Steelers active roster. And again, this is I'm no forum now to talk trash. That is not my style here. But I know that the Rams fans tend to be high on Ben Skowronek. I have nothing negative to say about Ben Skowronek. All I'll say is I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it. I don't get why everybody's like, Ben Skowronek, yeah. Like, it's like, he's cool, man. I've got nothing against Ben Skowronek, but we got to stop acting like this guy was a superstar, right? We cut him. He got cut by the Houston Texans still. Like, let's call it what it is, man. He's decent. Again, no intentions of trash talking. Benny Sko, though, in Pittsburgh now officially. Before we hop into our break, wanted to mention today's sponsor in Underdog Fantasy, as football season officially back running all the way until February, of course. Hopefully the Rams still playing at that time. Over 1 million fans in 33 states got into the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and you can join them, dude. It's super easy. And so easy, in fact. So I downloaded it, this app, just this last week, and I'm such an old man when it comes to getting new apps and stuff, and I hate learning new apps. I don't want to try to figure them all out, and I was a little bit daunted going into getting a new app that I need to figure out and make some picks and stuff. And luckily, though, Underdog Sports, Underdog Fantasy, it is so easy to use. I love the way the menu's set up. I love the search aspect of it. Underrated search aspect, and it's so good too. You just type in LOS, it's going to bring you to the Rams. I know that much, can confirm. All right, and that's absolutely awesome. I played this last weekend. It was my first shot, and I'll say this: I did not win, but in fairness, I was shooting for the stars, dude. So if I would have won, I would have gotten a call from and be like, "Hey, what do you know?" Because I was hitting some wild stuff. All right, so this week I'm gonna rein it in a little bit more and see what I can do. But it's extremely easy as far as making your picks. You just pick higher or lower, and that could be like touchdowns, receptions, yardage, anything like that. And again, it is just extremely easy. So again, I'm trying this week. I'll put together some dubs. Shot for the stars last week, and it didn't work out necessarily, but that's okay. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward, and signing up is even easier. Right? Super quick to get signed up. Super quick to get your money loaded up and start making your picks. Just head over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code SHOWCASE, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code SHOWCASE to claim your new customer special of a free pick and deposit offer. Must be 18 or over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. And again, super simple, man. Just go make your picks. It's higher or lower. It's extremely easy. And I know for myself, I'm not a big fantasy football player. So to add an aspect to my game day was absolutely awesome. And I'm looking forward to playing all year long. After this quick break, we'll get into your home opener. 49ers at Los Angeles Rams, SoFi Stadium, full game preview. That's next right here on Ram Showcase. Welcome back. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This is Ram Showcase. RamShowcase.com. By the way, we are looking to add people to that, all right? So I need some help on writing and all of that good stuff. And hey, if you are interested in hopping into covering the Los Angeles Rams, well, hey, hit me up and let's see what we can figure out at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase@gmail.com. Just reach out, dude, and we'll get something figured out for you. But we've got a football game going on this weekend. The San Francisco 49ers heading south to take on the Los Angeles Rams. 49ers at 1-1. The LA Rams sitting at 0-2. This game is at SoFi Stadium, 1:25 p.m. kickoff time on Fox. Adam Amin and Mark Sanchez on the call. I'm going to try quickly here to pull up my distribution map as I once again forgot to do so. And I'll just comment again what color it is, but we'll see where the game will be showed. Adam Amin, Mark Sanchez, Christina Pink on the sideline. If you are heading out to the game, high of 78 on Sunday in Los Angeles, or in Inglewood more specifically, and all game will be sitting mid-70s. By the way, I saw this little video. I don't know where it came from, but it was like a robot voice or whatever, and it was like, did you know that the most expensive stadium in America doesn't have AC? Talking about SoFi Stadium, it's like, yeah, because there's no walls, dude. Get it together. If you're betting on this game, Rams plus 7.5 for this game. That is wild. Plus 290 if you are on the money line, over and under 43.5. So what we're watching in this one, this is a game that truly is going against a powerful opponent, but will tell us exactly who this Rams team is. Based on what happened last week in Arizona, how is this team going to bounce back? I don't care how many starters are out or how many superstars you have on IR or how many people are going down. These are still NFL players, and how are they going to respond to that? Are they, more experienced or more prepared? Whatever. Maybe. But either way, these are still NFL players, and we've got a great coaching staff. So I'm anticipating a much stronger performance. Win or lose, we're kind of like in a situation right now where it's like, hey, we're so beat up that like we're going to lose some games, all right? That's just the way it's going to be. Obviously, we want to beat the 49ers more than anything. But we're looking at it right now in a situation where I just want to see some fight in this team. The way that this Rams team looked last week, we really just need some fire out of this team. Just some passion going into this one. We absolutely need to see it. And if we get rolled by 2 division opponents in a row, yeah, it's over. All right. So I won't say it's over going into week 3, but if we get smoked back to back by division opponents, yeah, it's probably over. Right. It's going to be that's a tough bounce back. And that takes a long time to kind of re-energize your locker room and get everybody back on track for that. Like, obviously it's a weekly business. No one's looking at the Bears game yet. Everybody's just focused in on, taking on the 49ers at SoFi Stadium on Sunday. But either way, we're kind of looking at a situation right now where it's just going to be tough, and we just need to see some fight. Because if you fight, you will win some games, especially teams like the 49ers, who we've seen this Rams team be able to fight before. All right, and then the Chicago Bears next week, very winnable game. The Green Bay Packers coming the week after that to SoFi Stadium, winnable game. Raiders, winnable game. Then who after that? Minnesota. Winnable game for sure. Seattle, winnable game. So like these are things that we could put together, but we got to just see some fight. If you battle in these games, we could absolutely see that happen. I forgot to do pants picks as far as what Payo Time and Rams House have said. So while I'm editing, I'll reach out to them. So what you see on screen will be correct as far as what their picks are and our records. As last week, Payo Time coming in clutch with the Royal Pants picks, dude. So I thought I was very convinced, Bone. That is not the case. That's not what happened. But either way, this week Rams are in white. And we'll see what everybody's picks happen to be, because I don't have that information as I'm talking, but you have it on screen. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. The Rams offense against the 49ers defense. One thing to keep your mind on as we still talk about these averages up until like the bye week. These don't mean so much, all right? So as we take a look at it, though, Rams offense is tied for 13th in the NFL. The 49ers defense on the lower end, they're 19th in the league in total yards given up. Passing the football, the Rams are 5th in the NFL. Matthew Stafford getting it done through the air for sure. Tied for 22nd for the 49ers defense defending the pass. Running the ball, the Rams are really not getting anything going here. Just 68 yards a game, 31st in the NFL, which first of all, there's somebody doing worse than 68 yards a game. Guys, get your life together. 32 is a loser. And then 107 for the 49ers. So that's 12th in the league. Points being put up. Rams scoring about 15 a game, tied for 27. 21 giving up a game for the for the 49ers. That's tied for 15th. And then third down, Rams on the back end here, 25th ranked, but 49ers sitting 31st ranked against third down on defense. So some notes we're looking at here. I know that the line is beat up. In fairness, though, like we do have 3 of our starters in. Sure, we don't have 2 of our starters in, but we have more than half, and I'll take that. It's better than it's been, all right? And having A.J. Jackson back, I think is absolutely massive. We have both of our starting tackles, and that's huge. K-Dot in the middle, Bo Limmer's looking decent, and then you got Logan Bruss, who's got something to prove at that left guard spot. I don't feel terrible about it, man. I don't feel terrible about it, but these guys are going to need to get some holes opened up for the run game, because Kyron Williams is not getting it done right now. Just 75 yards on the year. And then Blake Corum really just hasn't really been given an opportunity yet. But it sounds like, based on McVay's comments this week, that is something that we will start to see, is Blake Corum get involved a little bit more on the offense. But 2.45 yards per carry. Obviously, you're not going to try hammering it when that's the situation. But we've got to stick to it. We've got to stick to the run game. McVay is very quick to abandon the run game. Still is. That's kind of one of his faults. No coach is perfect, though. I know some people kind of are harsh on McVay, but I mean, he's the best coach this team's ever had. So I tried to lend a little bit of grace, I suppose. But overall, I mean, he's not perfect, man. He's going to make some mistakes, but he's an incredible coach. Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua being down, I think, are the worst of all of the missing offensive pieces now. because their abilities in this offense are very, very critical in how the entire thing is run. The way that Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua can block, the way that they run their routes, something that other guys just can't do. They're just not at that level. And also the connection with like Kupp and Stafford. That's a massive drop off. Losing Kupp, Stafford now doesn't have that guy that he's just like got that connection with. You know what I mean? And Puka too, obviously. But that I think is the biggest thing. Tyler Johnson does seem to be finding his role, so that could be very beneficial to the Rams. But D-Rob also could be carving out a nice little role as we wait for the other guys to return. Jordan Whittington truly has a time to shine right now, and if he is that guy, this is kind of the perfect time to show up and do it, man. Like Puka went off week 1 last year. All right, what if? Who's to say Jordan Whittington is not the next guy that can do that? What if Whittington comes in? He gets, 11 catches for like 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, and it's like, oh no, the Rams are fine. Like, not only are they fine, they are going to be so scary when everybody comes back, kind of thing. Like, I just don't think that that's an impossibility. Whittington also, by the way, on Rams Revealed, maybe the best episode of Rams Revealed ever, and I don't want to fall into like recency bias because there's been some really good ones on there, but Jordan Whittington on there, that was one of the most authentic and raw ones I think we've seen. As he kind of like, there's moments in there where he's kind of getting choked up and stuff like that. The way he's talking about his mother and stuff. It's one of those where you leave that being like, I want this guy to do so well, man. Like, I'm rooting for this kid so hard. And his story too, his football journey alone is just one of endurance and one of just, of that tenacity. And we want a guy like that on our squad, and we've got him. So that's absolutely awesome. Now he's getting the opportunity to actually get some reps. So rather exciting stuff, man. I'm really excited to see what Jordan Whittington does this year. Also, name we haven't really talked about a lot, Tutu Atwell. The Tutu train, he might be asked to be a little bit creative in his role with some of these guys out, as we could be seeing him with a lot of the jet sweep motions. I'm thinking that that's kind of where he could slot in this gap where we're going to be down Koopa and Puka. So something to keep our eyes on there. We've seen so many flashes from Tutu, but the consistency is something we haven't seen yet. So hopefully we can, maybe this is a good opportunity for him to get those reps and also just kind of solidify himself as a contributor on this offense. And again, what if Johnson, D-Rob, Whittington, and Tutu all become awesome and then we get Cooper and Puka back? You know what I mean? What if, dude? And we also don't have our starting tight end yet. I mean, just going to throw that out there. So, best matchup, Rams offense versus the 49ers defense. I'm going to go with the Rams tackles against Leonard Floyd and Nick Bosa. These are guys who can definitely wreck the day a bit, especially without having Kupp and Puka. Those guys help a lot in that kind of stuff. But to be able to help out 9 a little bit, we're going to need our tackles to just have a good day. All right. A.J. Jackson, and this is his first game back, so he might have some cobwebs, but definitely a big improvement over what we've seen from the left tackle spot over the first 2 weeks. And then Big Rob holding it down at right tackle. Obviously, we know what he brings to the table, leadership, and just an awesome right tackle. I mean, what more can you say about Big Rob, dude? I mean, the dude's incredible. Final remaining St. Louis Ram on the roster, and he's doing big things, man. Big Rob is awesome. One of my favorite players. The guy's jersey in my closet, man. That guy's absolutely awesome. Big fan of Big Rob. Next up, 3 to C on the Rams offensive side. I'm going to start with Blake Corum. It does feel like McVay wants to start getting Blake more involved into the offense, maybe to try to spark the run game a little bit, because again, 2.5 yards a carry. We're dealing with 75 yards for Kyron Williams on the season so far at 2 games. So we just need a spark there. So Blake Corum will be one to watch. We did see him late in the game last year, and of course those were against some depth guys for the Arizona Cardinals, but we did see some stuff there. But obviously the entire mood of that point of the game, I mean, no one's really fighting that crazy. So obviously you get a Niners week coming in here, and everybody should be at least fired up. If you need to help get fired up for this game, you're in the wrong sport, dude. This is kind of what we live for a little bit. Next up on the 3 to C, I'm going to package this one in as Tyler Johnson and Demarcus Robinson. We need these guys to play to their potential if we're going to string together some dubs, all right? And then we get some other guys back, but if these guys can kind of start to find a rhythm now, then that would be obviously huge. Tall task this week, but definitely not impossible. And maybe being a little bit overlooked by the 49ers, kind of like the Cardinals were from the perspective of the Rams. I do think that we overlooked them a little bit. I think it was one of those where it's like, we always beat these guys. We'll be fine. And then we didn't. Not only did we not, we got smoked by Arizona, which doesn't happen very often. I mean, congrats to them and stuff, but it just didn't feel like a good Rams day, Last year on the 3-C Rams offense, going to be Logan Bruss, that left guard. It sounds like he's going to be the starter at left guard based on what we heard from like the McVay show this week and stuff. But the latest guy to get a shot because of injuries. Is he up for the task? We are about to find out. Jonah Jackson, though, officially added to IR along with John Johnson. So we are down those guys right now, and Jonah Jackson will be the starter when he comes back. But if Logan Bruss can show that he is developing like we kind of saw in preseason, especially that first game, then maybe we could be okay. All right. And that's kind of what my point on the entire offense is like. Yes, it's like Cooper, Puka, and then you lose your starting center, Avila, who's incredible, Jonah Jackson, who's awesome, and we're down Tyler Higbee still. It's like, yeah, those are really good guys that we're down right now. But also DeMarcus Robinson, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Whittington aren't bad players by any means. Colby Parkinson isn't a bad tight end. Davis Allen could be back this week. He's not a bad tight end. And on the interior, up the offensive line, Bo Wimmer, we're asking him to do a lot. 6th round rookie center, and we're like, hey, we need you right away. By the way, you don't get practice time. Go play, And then we bring in Logan Bruss. Like, who knows, man? I just don't. I'm not as down on the team as I think others are. I know we're down a lot of like really good players right now, but I also think going into this year we had good depth. And I think that this is the time right now where we should showcase it or can showcase it. We have the ability, the opportunity to showcase our depth. And so I'm hoping that that's what we see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe our depth isn't that good. Maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I kind of follow the Rams too closely. And I think all of these guys are awesome. Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Let's flip over to the other side. 49ers offense against the Rams defense. 49ers offense definitely getting it done. They're 3rd in the league in total yards. Rams defense after last week, 32nd in the league in total yards given up. And passing the ball, 3rd again for the 49ers offense, 24th against pass for the Rams defense. Again, that's a young secondary that's brand new to each other. So I'm thinking we're going to need some time to gel there. Johnson being down does not help. Running the ball, almost a top 10 unit for the 49ers offense. And the Rams defense, 30th in the league, giving up almost 200 a game. Also giving up over 33 points a game. That is 31st in the NFL. Again, somebody else giving up more than that? Guys, get it together. And 20th in the league on points being scored for the 49ers, putting up a little over 24. 3rd down, the 49ers offense is 20th in the league, and Rams defense, 28th in the league. So nothing that jumps out too crazy there as far as like matchups we gotta watch or anything like that. I just think that these averages are skewed, all right? I don't think that the Rams have the worst defense in the league. I just don't, all right? We have young secondary guys who have not played that much football together yet, so we need to get them some continuity. Our inside linebackers, didn't know that they were going to be starting inside linebackers until like 6 days before the season started, so you got to consider that. And then just the youth up front, in the front 7 entirely. Obviously your edges, super young, Verse and young, literally young. And then Turner, Bobby Brown's like the seasoned veteran there, but then Braden Fisk as well. These guys just need to get used to the NFL level, and I firmly believe that. I'm not thinking that these guys are like cooked or anything like that. So, and some notes on this side here. So the Rams defense, let's not sugarcoat it. We got smoked last week. All right, the averages will be off. But that's fair. I mean, when you have a game like that, especially this early in the season, it's just what happens, all right? Jared Verse and Braden Fisk were pulling off some pretty sick stuff last week, and it really shows their continuity with each other. And some plays really should have been pretty big sacks. Fisk had one where Verse kind of came in on the stunt and ate both blockers, and then Fisk was free, but then Kyler shook him. And then there was another one where Verse got in free and had 2 shots at Kyler and didn't get him. And it's like, dang it, dude. Like, I know you're a rookie and I know he's fast and squirrely and stuff, but you got to make that tackle, man. But either way, they're getting close. Verse especially is right on the cusp of so many big plays, and it's just a matter of time before that starts happening. Akello might be to play here to try to spark something in the secondary as well, especially with Johnson going down. Could use a little bit of a veteran leadership person in that regard. After a strong week 1, the inside linebackers did seem a little bit lost in week 2, both Roseboom and Reeder. So not really sure what happened there, but we do need to correct that quickly, especially a team like the 49ers who are going to get creative. They're going to have a lot of different stuff to look at. And their backup running back to CMC, Mason, is looking really solid, actually. So obviously a drop-off. CMC is a very talented back in this league, but he's the backup Mason is also, he's doing a great job. So something to keep our eyes on for sure. No Debo, by the way. Ayuk with something to prove. Could we be seeing another Marvin Harrison situation where we kind of, I feel like, underestimated guy? I don't think we underestimated Marvin Harrison, by the way. I just think we did a terrible job against him. I didn't see anything that he did where I was like, oh, man, this guy's good. It was one of those of like, what are we doing out here, you know? So cover that guy is what I'm trying to say. Ayuk, they're probably going to force it a little bit to Ayuk, so let's cover him up. Best matchup on this one is going to be Quentin Lake versus George Kittle. Tough matchup here. But with Lake in that role, we'll see him a lot. We're going to see that matchup a lot. Quietly had a really good day last week and could surprise some people this week as, of course, Purdy is going to be trying to get the football to George Kittle. So Quentin Lake has the opportunity to kind of showcase why he's got that C on his chest. And I'm kind of here for that. 3 to C on the defensive side, Jared Verse. Dude is getting so close so often. And it's just a matter of time before he starts getting home, and it would be a good time to start getting home against Brock Purdy and the 49ers offense in our home opener. First time the home crowd gets to see these boys, so put on a show, dude. And Verse, man, I like this one. This feels like the game where we can kind of start to see him kind of start to take off a little bit. Next up, I'm going to go with Trey White. Not making the impact that I had hoped for yet. I'm adding the yet. But maybe a few games into our defense, maybe that's all he needed. Maybe he just needed to get into the rhythm a little bit more. So I'm excited to see what he can do. And I'm not throwing in the towel on anybody just yet. But Trey White definitely feels like we should be a little bit more the defending the passes, man. I mean, just we gotta knock some of those down. It feels like they're all getting by him and close, but you just got to be able to make that play. So. Next up here, last one is going to be Cam Kinchins. With Johnson going down, we are expecting more of Kinchins in this defense, and he will be asked to take on a pretty tough spot, as John Johnson was also playing incredible football before he went down. But this is my number one candidate for guy who could explode due to injury. Cam Kinchins and Logan Bruss are like the top of my list there of like, what if, dude? What if these guys come in and are killer against the 49ers? That'd be rather exciting, right? And again, not saying guarantee, I'm not making predictions here. I'm saying it's not impossible, and I think it would be really cool to see, man. Who knows? Maybe Cam Kinchins is like the next Hall of Fame level safety, and he's just been like only in here and there, and he just needs a full game to get out there and just start cracking some skulls. And, we'll see. Crushing souls and cracking skulls, dude. It's been a while since I've said crushing souls. I wonder what happened with that, man. We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back around. Roll it back. Let's take a look at some matchups in this one here, or some connections, I should say. So former Rams, who are currently on the 49ers, defensive coordinator Nick Sorensen. He was a Rams DB coach early 2000s. Assistant head coach Brandon Staley. He was the 2020 defensive coordinator. And we have Leonard Floyd. He was with the Rams from 2020 to 22, so has a Super Bowl ring that he definitely didn't get with the 49ers. He hasn't been playing that long. Anybody who has a Super Bowl ring from the 49ers retired years ago, so there's no actives there. And quarterback Brandon Allen, he was sitting on the bench behind Goff in 17 and 18. Former 49ers, currently on the Rams. We'll start with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, quarterback of the Niners 2017 to 2022. And his first game back, actually. So he will be on the bench for the Rams QB2 behind Stafford. Offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur, safety coach Chris Beek, and Yarbs, wide receiver coach Yarbs. He was out there in 03-04. Some NFL connections, didn't really see any that jumped out to me that were super, super dope or anything. So nothing crazy. Trey White played in Buffalo with Leonard Floyd. So two Rams that never played together as Rams, but played in Buffalo together. And then Matthew Stafford played in Detroit with Alex Barrett and Tracy Walker. D. Will played in Jacksonville with offensive lineman Ben Barch. Barch sounds like, like if you ever seen The Good Place and like how they replace curse words with things, that's what I think of when I hear Ben Barch. I don't know. Next up, college connections. Safety Cam Curl played at Arkansas with Drake Greenlaw for 2 years. Kyron Williams played at Notre Dame with offensive lineman Aaron Banks. Darian Kendrick, Stetson Bennett, Warren McClendon played at Georgia with Robert Beal Jr. Blake Corum played at Michigan with wide receiver Ronnie Bell. Ambry Thomas and Drake Nugent. Connor McDermott played at UCLA with offensive lineman Jake Brendel. Yarbs was also a coach over at UCLA at the time. Troy Reeder played at Penn State with Kevin Givens, defensive lineman. And Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, they both played at Florida State with linebacker Tatum Bethune and Renardo Green. Safety, Jalen McCullough, undrafted rookie for the Rams this year, played at Tennessee with wide receiver Juwan Jennings. A.J. Jackson played at Iowa with George Kittle. We talk about that one yearly. Kobe Turner, Wake Forest with safety Malik Mustafa. Jake Hummel played at Iowa State with Brock Purdy, another yearly one. Joshua Carty and Colby Parkinson played at Stanford with Curtis Robinson and Drake Nugent. John Johnson played at Boston College with Isaac Yadam. So those are your connections there, man. Some pretty interesting connections as far as college goes. Those NFL ones, though, a little bit thin. Some milestones we are keeping our eyes on heading into this week, by the way. Kyron Williams, he did tie the second longest game streak with a touchdown, tying Todd Gurley. And this is since 2000, by the way, consecutive games with a touchdown. And if he scores one on Sunday on the ground, will tie Marshall Faulk for longest streak with 6 straight games with a rushing touchdown. Faulk did that back in the day. This is since 2000, though. Some good stuff. Well, obviously, it was back in the day. It was when Marshall Faulk was playing. So, yeah, it's been a bit. All right. Safety, Quentin Lake needs 6 tackles to become the Rams' all-time leader in tackles by a defensive back in the first 3 games of a season. Yeah, I know. It's extremely specific, but it is real. Matthew Stafford, 23 completions to pass Norm Van Brocklin for 7th most in franchise history. Definitely already one of the Rams' best quarterbacks in franchise history. Already solidified himself, obviously, by being able to do this thing with a lot of stuff, you know. A lot of cool pictures and stuff. All right. That is your game preview, 1:25 p.m. on Fox this coming Sunday. Rams home opener hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Should be a fun one and potential for some depth guys to really pop and explode this time around. We got Fan Quesos. That's on the other side of this break on Ram Showcase. This is Ram Showcase. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. We've gotten through your game preview and your Rams injury updates. Now it is time to dive into our Fan Quesos. All right, so we'll go ahead and start over here on the Facebook page. Not too many, and that is actually kind of my fault because I almost forgot to post it. So it kind of posted a little bit later than normal, but also they don't have to be posted for you to ask me a question. You can message or however you need to get that to me, message, email, whatever is fine. You can comment on other stuff. Previous episodes, I will try to find them there as well. So whatever you got a question you want me to answer, there just reach out, dude. All right. So this is your fault a little bit. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and hop on in. Edwin, emphasis on the win. Mentioning that he didn't show up to the live stream, even though he was the one. Edwin that said yes, do it for sure, dude. That's all good, man. Anyway, yeah, hop on next time, dude. We'll be chatting some Rams, of course. Fan Quesos coming here from Edwin. First one, why do you believe we played so badly defensively against the Cardinals? It's hard to say, man, but I really do feel a little bit like the Rams went into that game being like, we're fine. Like, we're going to be okay. Like, Arizona, they're terrible. We'll be all right. I think there's part of it that way, but ultimately, too, I didn't see any passion in it. A lot of missed tackles. And I also, let's not just blame the Rams here, but let's also give a little bit of credit to the Arizona Cardinals, as they came in ready to play. And we weren't. And that happens sometimes. We've seen it before. This team has come into games where we're like, what are we doing here? Like the Jets game, couple years ago, bone on soul. I was so pumped about the combo. And then we got beat by the Jets, dude. Like, they were so bad that year. And the Jets weren't even happy about it because winning that game took them out of the number one draft pick. So they were like, what the heck, guys? Like, what's going on here? But I don't know. It's just one of those games, man. Nothing was going our way. Even Jared Verse forces the fumble, and it ends up as a touchdown for the Cardinals. That was just kind of the way it was, man. We have these days every once in a while. Seems like we've got like 1 or 2 games a year where we're like, what are we doing? And I also say that usually after those games, we play really well. So there's that part of it. Number 2, which wide receiver do you expect to have the biggest role against the Niners? And moving forward, I would say I really feel most comfortable saying Demarcus Robinson, but I don't think it's impossible that Tyler Johnson or Jordan Whittington become that guy. I would say that Tutu, I don't believe is going to be like called upon to be like the superstar. I think that he carves out a nice little role, but I just don't think that he's like asked to be the guy. Whittington, it makes sense that he could, but he's also really young still. Tyler Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, the veterans of the group. I think it's kind of a toss-up between both of those guys, and we'll kind of see this week of who is Stafford kind of targeting in on a little bit, because it also might be a tight end that we see get the bulk of that. Could be a Parkinson, could be a Davis Allen. So we'll kind of see how it shakes up, but I feel most confident telling you Demarcus Robinson for whatever that's worth. Next question here by Edwin. By how much do you think we beat the Niners? I'm thinking 27-21. It's going to be an awesome feeling winning our first game at home against that team. Dude, you're absolutely right, man. That would feel pretty dang good, man. And that would open the door for some really good trash talk right now, because if you are a trash talker, I am not. But if you are, man, the 49ers are giving you receipts to follow up on. If the Rams win this game, man, start doing your screenshots now, because it's available for you. they're everywhere right now, just ripping into the Rams. So that's kind of a recipe for having some stuff come back on you. But whatever, I don't get into it. I don't screenshot people's comments and like I'll approve them, or I don't care. Like, say what you want, dude. I don't care. I will say I did comment on CG's video where he was talking about Rams pay your rent and all this stuff and clean up this trash and all. It was like, I did comment and I was like, it's a bad look, man, actually, because it did look, it was a little over the top to me. I mean, it was like, okay, there's fun trash talk and stuff like that. Now you're getting a little personal on that one. And so I was like, it's kind of a bad look, dude. So I did comment that, but I didn't engage any further. I don't know if he wrote back. I'd have to check. But either way, 49ers fans are giving you bulletin board material right now if you are one of those people who follows up with trash talk and stuff like that. I don't get involved in the trash talk. I don't follow up on the trash talk. I don't initiate the trash talk. I don't offer it up or really engage in it at all. Like, you can trash it. Trash the Rams all you want to. I just love this team with my whole heart. I don't know, man. It's maybe I'm the weirdo there, but either way, I don't know. But you can find it for sure. As far as what do I think that this game's going to end up as, I think we're going to see a lot better fight from this team than we did last week. And I guess the hope is that the timing of these two teams clashing means that the Rams coming off of a really bad road loss to a divisional opponent who you've owned for years, and then the 49ers coming in. I mean, they did lose last week, but they're still, a hot team coming in with a lot of confidence. And I'm hoping that the timing of this game means that the Rams just are able to get it done and kind of put it together. Maybe surprise the 49ers a little bit. It's hard to surprise that team. They do appear ready for most games, but they did just lose in Minnesota to Sam Darnold. So who knows, dude? They're definitely beatable. No CMC, no Debo. It's definitely can win this game, man. I'm not going to sit here and say that I think that the Rams are just straight up point blank better than the 49ers. I'm not going to say that because I don't believe that right now, especially with these injuries. Outside of the injuries, I think we go toe-to-toe with them all day. With the injuries, though, yeah, we are at a clear disadvantage. But I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not possible if the Rams win this game. I'm just not. Division game 2, these coaches know each other really, really well. There's a lot of factors that go into this one. Next one here come from Jason. Now what do we do? I don't know. Panic? Probably. Says, how do you think we are going to be able to score when half of our offense is out? Deep passes to Tutu and keep the defense honest and try to feed our tight end? No, man, I just don't think the sky's falling like everybody else does. Like, I know Koopa and Puka, they're both out, obviously, and that's a bummer. But that's really, like, if you look at, like, Avila, that is a bummer, obviously, but Limmer's playing okay, at least. Logan Bruss might be decent, so I think that he's at least going to be serviceable in a short-term period. And then the wide receiver thing is my biggest concern. But outside of that, man, I'm not convinced the sky's falling yet. We're 0-2, so are like the Ravens and like some really good football teams. There's been a lot of weird stuff. Minnesota's 2-0 right now. Like, I mean, I'm just not taking anything too serious right now, man. As far as what are we going to be able to do? I mean, we have the ability to run the ball and control our drives by going like short to intermediate routes, man. And that's kind of what we're built for right now. We're actually not really built to pop the top off of a defense with Tutu just running deep. We are more of in a situation with Tutu running some jet sweeps and getting some cool handoffs that way, running play action, try to do a lot of misdirection. You hit a Tutu going left, and then Tyler Johnson coming across the other way, right behind a linebacker or something like that, then I think we're going to be okay. And this is where it's going to come down to coaching and the Rams coaching staff utilizing their talent to the best of their abilities. And this is exactly kind of the stuff I love. And I know that sounds so weird. Like, obviously I want to see our superstars out there, but like, I kind of live for this kind of stuff of like, what are we going to do? What is going to happen? What is it going to look like? What is Tyler Johnson going to be able to do? What is Demarcus Robinson going to be able to do? Is Colby Parkinson finally going to pop off? Are we going to see the run game explode this week? I kind of live for this stuff, man. I've been a Rams fan through some pretty rough years, and I've watched this team be healthy and worse than they are today. So, sue me. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's as bad as everybody thinks it is. But to answer your question, man, what do we do now? We do have to adjust our offense. Absolutely, we have to adjust our offense simply because we don't have those superstar wide receivers that we are used to playing with. But that doesn't mean that our offense cannot move the football and that we are just absolutely done for. I don't buy that one bit, all right? Let's head over to the YouTube channel here, answer these quesos here. I have not read any of these from Rams House and from Payo Time, so we're just going to plow through top to bottom, and hopefully there's some real good juicy ones here. Which Payo Time, he did warn me that there's, I don't know what he said, some spicy ones, I think. I don't know. And then Rams House, I think these just came 4 minutes ago, 1 minute ago for this one. So these are brand new. Definitely haven't checked these out yet. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. Rams House, open it up with how impressive Jared Verse looked versus the Lions and them being such a great line. How much more do you think he's going to wreck the league versus inferior lines? Well, we did see him make a lot of impact last week. Says, keep in mind this was supposed to be a question from last week. Oh, okay, fair enough. So yeah, obviously we saw him make a lot of impact last week. Getting after Kyler, just got to be able to finish those. The absence of Aaron Donald, I think, has been most felt in that game, and simply because when like Kyler Murray had a legitimate fear of Aaron Donald, and you're never going to convince me that that's not real. And rightfully so, but also Kyler Murray used to just fall down when Aaron Donald would break through the line. If he didn't feel like he could get away, he would fall to the ground like a toddler. Like you're chasing a toddler and they're like, yeah. That's what it was for Kyler Murray every single time. So we obviously need to instill some fear into Kyler again. And I think Jared needs to lay one of those shoulder pops that he did a few of those against Detroit. He needs to lay one of those into Kyler in our next game against them later this year. And just, let him know we're coming. Let him know it's not over, dude. All right? It's not just 99 that you should fear. It's everybody, dude. So I think that overall he's going to keep looking better and better as the year goes on. We're going to see some really good matchups for him. We're going to see some times where left tackles are just not that good, or maybe backups that we're dealing with, and he's going to smoke some dudes. He's going to make some guys look like they need to be cut. And if you've seen that scatter chart of like pass rush win percentage, Jared versus running away, dude. Through 2 games, dude is already looking like he is the clear-cut defensive player of the year. Show me another dude who's playing better. Like, honestly, it's not there yet. We're 2 games in, so yes, pump the brakes, but it's very real stuff, man. Very real stuff. Next one here from Rams House. Compare, contrast the Shula and Raheem defense. Not personnel, but overall philosophy. Obviously, it was a bad week this week versus the Cardinals, but I'm still not seeing as much of the DBs lined up 10 to 15 yards off the receiver which is a plus. You're absolutely right, man. That's my main point. We're seeing a little bit more aggression, and I'm here for it, man. It doesn't always work out, but I like it, all right? We even saw that on the McVay show. He was talking about offense and going for it on fourth down, but he even said, he's like, I don't take those decisions back. It's like, yeah, it's not working out yet, but like it will. Like, it's a numbers game, and he said he doesn't regret it, and I love that. And same way I feel like Shula would answer that if you say, like, how do you feel about being aggressive on defense? Like, no, that's what we want to do. And I'm all for it, man. I'm happy for Raheem doing a good job out in Atlanta. He's a good coach. I just like my defense a little bit more aggressive. When we're 3rd and 2, I don't want to see guys 10 yards off the ball. I just think that's too much to ask. And Shula decided that isn't too much to ask. And in fact, that's kind of become the norm. And I appreciate that. And that is, I think, the biggest thing as far as philosophy goes. We're seeing a lot less, at least so far, a lot less disguises in the secondary. But that also could be because these guys haven't played that much together. But also just that aggression. But just playing a little bit more straightforward football on the defensive side right now. We'll probably add some wrinkles in, though, as the year goes on. Next one here comes from Payo Time. Situation. You're on a date with a girl. Thank you. At a medium fancy restaurant. Which current Rams player would you want to walk in and recognize you and talk you up to the girl? AKA, who would be the best wingman? Oh my gosh, that's such a funny question. Dude, first of all, any of them. But it'd have to be somebody recognizable, right? Like somebody that she might recognize. Like, and I'm not saying like hey, girls don't know football, stuff like that. But like on average, at least the girls I talk to don't know the players like I do. You know what I mean? So I would say, but I also don't want it to be somebody like Cooper Kupp, who she would just be way more into immediately. Dilemmas, dude. Dilemmas. You know what, dude? Give me Bobby Brown. I feel like Bobby would have some really cool stuff to say about me. He's listening to that like, what? I don't know you, dude. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a hard one, though. It's a hard question to answer. Your questions do that to me sometimes, Payo. They're really good, but they're difficult sometimes. Yeah. I want to know yours, though, man. Let me know. And anybody, who would you want? Of a current Rams player to come in, catch you on a date and be like, oh, this guy? Yo, man, this guy's the man. Like, who would you want that to be? That's awesome. Next one here from Payo. When was the last time you remember the Rams winning a game that they were underdogs, shocking the NFL? Hopefully we see that Sunday. You know what, man? The first one that's coming to my brain is actually this team at this stadium. NFC Championship game. I don't know how much we were really underdogs for that game, but I know a lot of the NFL was like, they're not going to win this one. Like, it just kind of seemed to be a thing. But, I mean, we hit that hammer pretty hard that week of like, we have one opportunity to either play in the Super Bowl in your own home stadium, or on the flip side of that, you lose and your most hated rival plays a Super Bowl in your home stadium. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And the Rams won, obviously, which was awesome. But I would say my brain also is going back further, like St. Louis further, where like, oh man, let me see. I'm trying to remember some specifics. There was one against the Saints that had to have been like 12 or 13, maybe. We were in throwback uniforms. No reason to beat the Saints. Won that game. Somebody had a defensive touchdown. Colts game where Tavon went off. We were underdogs in that one and then absolutely lit them up. That was really cool. Let me think. That's a tough one, man. Another tough question from Payo. I'm going to have to start looking at yours early, dude. Yeah, that's a hard one too. Yeah, there's some a long time ago that I kind of think of. You know what? I'll give you this one, dude. My favorite one. 2014 Denver Broncos at the St. Louis Rams. That was Peyton Manning versus Shaun Hill. Shaun Hill getting the start over Austin Davis. It was just a benching situation. Austin Davis wasn't looking great. So Shaun Hill comes in, start the game with a sick bomb to Kenny Too Legit to Britt, dude. So exciting, man. And then obviously, Rodney McLeod, rest in peace, Emmanuel Sanders. And he laid down, Emmanuel Sanders got laid down a few times in that one, but obviously the Rodney McLeod one, RIP, dude. That was some good stuff. But that's got to be my favorite one, man, because Peyton Manning led Broncos. That was like a high-flying powerhouse, and the Rams We had Sean Hill at quarterback, dude. Obviously, we were terrible. But yeah, dude, Kenny too legit to Britt with that touchdown early, and that kind of was like, oh, snap. And then I do remember too, the following week, we almost beat the Chargers, and I was fired up, dude. I was jumping up and down, talking trash to my dad, who's a Chargers fan, and then the Chargers ended up winning. Oh man, I felt like such a dunce because I was like, yeah, like, oh man, it was rough. But that was after that game though, and I was all good, man. As long as the Rams beat the Broncos every time they play them, I'm straight, dude. I'm good. That's perfect. I'm gonna lock in that one though. 2014 Broncos at Rams, top tier. It was snowing so hard in Colorado that day. I remember everything about it. I actually have some pictures too, so I don't know if I'll share them here or not. I'd have to find them, but good stuff. What would it be like sharing a room with Jordan Whittington? I did this one for you, I think. Wait, did I do this one for you? I thought I did this one when you missed it. Jordan Whittington, though, dude, I feel like we would first of all, we'd be like on the opposite side, just throwing a football back and forth and chatting. I think that's what it would be. I think that's exactly what it'd be. It'd be like, damn, dude, so you like really broke your clavicle after all that stuff, dude? That's damn, dude. Like, I feel like it's exactly how it would be. Just be chatting, dude, just telling stories and stuff. He seems like that kind of guy who would be like, not only would have good stories, but would be excited about your stories. And that's a good person to talk to every time. And then a reminder to answer my team builder question from a couple weeks ago. What? Oh, yeah. It says 15 years down the road, Sean McVay decides to step away from coaching and gives you the reins as head coach. All the key members of the Rams roster are gone, and you are given a generous 12-year window to rebuild a team. What's your team-building strategy, and what kind of offense and defense would you construct? So I'll kind of give you one on this one. I forgot about this entirely. I'll give you a little bit on this one, though. As far as what offense I would do, I think I try to go old school a little bit, and I want to be able to attack the ground, all right? So I would go pretty ground heavy. I would probably be the one guy who tries to bring back in fullbacks and stuff like that, because I also do feel very old school in my like football mentality of like run the ball and play good defense. That's how you win football games, you know. I'm very locked in on that. Obviously, being a Rams fan has kind of opened my eyes a little bit to more strategies and other strategies and how to attack teams. But that's obviously like kind of where I immediately go to. Like, you need to be able to run the football, though. You can't pass the ball if you can't run the ball, dude. We see that a lot when McVay abandons it. And it's like, hey, if we even just pretend we're going to run like a little bit. Like, we need to just slam it in there, dude, once or twice, just to let them know, hey, we're not going to stop. Like, you do still need to defend this kind of thing. And on defense, man, I think that I would go with like a first-year Wade Phillips defense. And I say first-year Wade Phillips defense because, like, I can't remember how many stops in a row it was. It was a lot of stops in a row where Wade Phillips would show up to a team, his first year there, they would make the playoffs, and then they wouldn't get back. And so, no, maybe it was the Rams that broke that then. Yeah, they would have been 2017 and 2018 would have broke that. So, but either way, that Wade Phillips defense, man, I like the way that his style of defense, and then it would ultimately come down to like, give me good edges and give me good back end coverage, man. Give me a linebacker who can spy and cover if I need him to, just in case, you know, depending on who you're playing and stuff like that. But give me a good edges and really just a sick secondary that's not going to get blown, like just beat over the top all the time, you know. But also aggressive, man. Like I would like to, you know, press a lot, ruin the timing of plays. That is like my number one thing on defense, ruin their timing. If the offense is dictating the timing, you're going to have a bad day. We saw that in against Arizona, where we even tried to throw off the timing a few times, and it just didn't really work. Kyler, though, he had the game of his friggin' life, and it had to be against us, man. Like, when we're beat up and, like, needing something to kind of, like, spark anything, and then Kyler comes in like he's huge, like he's 5 feet tall, and now all of a sudden, and he's killing it. Like, I don't know, man. It's just one of those things. But that's kind of, I guess, from a philosophy standpoint, that's what I want. An aggressive defense who's not going to get beat over the top. Give me an inside linebacker who can cover and spy. You're going to have to deal with that with these quarterbacks. Run the football on offense and work that off the play action. I love that play where you get, like the Rams do it a lot, where you get your tight end kind of blocking and then just turns to the quarterback. and then it's usually Higbee just catches it and then can make like 15 yards at a time, dude. It's awesome. But yeah, thank you for your fan quesos. I'll try to not forget next time, so I get some more in here. But again, you can just drop them at any time. Messages, other ways, just get them into me, dude. But other than that, man, we got a good football game this weekend. Home opener for the LA Rams hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously a game we would all love to win. We'll see what happens. Injuries are a problem right now. And it's just the way it is. But the Rams are kind of scheduled to be healthy at some point. We don't really have too many season-ending injuries. And a lot of those are guys who are a little bit younger. I mean, Darian Kendrick was a starter last year, and he's out for the year, obviously. I think Tomlinson, I didn't see officially, but I saw somebody post that he was out for the full year. But I didn't know if he was eligible to return or not. So I guess something to keep our eyes on. But we should be about like by week 10 is kind of my target date in my brain, as far as when I think that this team can be good and healthy again. And that's because if with the way we're looking at the schedule right now, so obviously home opener, Niners, tough game, obviously. In Chicago, winnable. Home against Green Bay, winnable but tough game. Green Bay Packers are a very good football team. Bye week, which is going to be huge. I do think we get some guys on the back end of that. D-Will probably comes back after that, stuff like that. So we'll probably get a few guys to return at that point. But then, so then you come off of the bye week, you're home against the Raiders, so that's all obviously good. Home on each side of your bye week. I love that. Just going to stay in town, don't have to travel and stuff like that. You do get a short week after that Raiders game against the Minnesota Vikings, but that's also at home. So then you get an extended week because you played on Thursday for your next road game, which is just up the road to Seattle, a place that the Rams have historically played pretty well, especially under McVay. And then you come back home with, again, another little bit of an extended break because you take on the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football Week 10. And that is the game where after that game, if we can make it till then, stringing together a few wins, if we can have 3 or 4 by that time, I don't think it's impossible that after that, it's time to hit the ground running and we start making a run. All right, because we saw this happen last year. Rams went 7-1 to end the season and then ran into what was just like the football gods not going to let the Detroit Lions lose a football game in the playoffs. So that's kind of what happened there. But so either way, that's kind of where my brain's at. Don't die until week 10, and maybe things will be okay. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Baggs. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fan-Sided Network at Ram Showcase at Sheriff Joe Baggs. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.